All right, so some people are on the scoreboard moving up, which is fine. But I should mention, because this may be what a lot of people want to do, if you don't want to go over the very basics and you don't feel like setting up any machines right now, you can jump right to the command injection section. And there are several things you can do here without setting up any machine at all. All you need is a web browser. So here's command injection. This is a famous old vulnerability, and you'll see it on a lot of router configuration pages. So you'll have a place where you can ping something to see if your network is working. And so if you ping an IP address, it gives you an output. And if you notice this output, you should recognize it. This is just the output of the command line ping utility. So that means the programmer who made this page was pretty sloppy. That would be me. And all they did, rather than figuring out how to, now this is a PHP page. When you send the pings, you can see up here, it's ping.php. And the PHP code, there might be some PHP library that will actually perform a ping, but I don't know what it is, and I did not find a library like that. What I did was build a command line. I took ping -C2 to send 2 pings, and then just add whatever the user puts here to create a line, a bash command line, and then execute it with the system command. And that is a common technique that's used because it's easy, but it leads to command injection vulnerabilities if you're not careful. If you put a semicolon and then say ID here, it will complete the ping, and then it will execute the ID command. So it does the ping, then it calculates, does the ID command and reveals that I'm not the root, but I'm www data, which is the Apache user. And so I can just put other commands here like ls. And if you do an ls, you'll see the files on the server, and one of them is a flag. And there's a series of flags hidden on this server that you can find. And now you can just execute commands by stringing them out here. And this may seem ridiculous that anybody would be so stupid as to have this flaw, but it happens a lot in a lot of real servers. And one example is the ImageMagick vulnerability. So here, let me get an image to work with, like say this one. Okay, if I open image in new tab, I've got it here. I can save that image someplace. I'll put it in my downloads folder, RTVH. All right. So ImageMagick was a library used a few years ago on almost every Linux system, and it had a command injection vulnerability. So if I upload this file, choose file I say, there we are, RTVH. Okay, then I upload the image, and the ImageMagick library executes this command to convert it to a thumbnail size. That's the ImageMagick library. And normally, the user doesn't see this if you go to a chat message or something, but it's what's happening in the background. And the point is, this is the thing working as intended, where it makes a thumbnail, and when you click it, you go to the original sized image. But you can exploit this, and you exploit it with this vulnerability here. So you take that text, and let me get a text editor here. All right. You put that data in a text editor, and then you save that with as exploit.jpg, for example. I have a dot there. All right. And so now I upload that instead of the previous image, exploit.jpg. It's not a real JPEG image, but it has a JPEG extension. And now when I upload it, I get hello and the date here. And the reason I do is because for some reason, the ImageMagick people decided to let you put metadata in your image file, and that metadata would then let you change things about the image. So I can fill some area with a color, and for some reason you can download the color from the internet. So you could put up a web page that changes how your images appear. I have no idea why anybody would want to do this, but the point is they implemented this the same way I implemented that ping, where it takes the URL from here and it just puts it after the curl command and makes a line of bash and executes it. And that means that if you put in the correct punctuation marks, you can then just put bash commands here, echo hello and date, and those commands will execute on the server. So again, you can make an image file with this text in it, and you can add other commands here, and you can now execute commands on the server, and there's a series of flags to find on the server. Another one is a Drupal command injection, which is very similar. This one, you will need a Linux machine of some kind, or I suppose you could use a Windows machine with Python on it. And you have a proof of concept code here. This is one of the many Drupal-geddon flaws, but I thought it was kind of hilarious because my college just switched to Drupal for their website. So this is going to be good, clean fun. But anyway, there's a whole series of Drupal-geddon attacks, and this is one of them. There was a flaw in the user registration for the email part of Drupal, which is again the same story. There's a payload, you have to feed it to the right part of the page, and there's a point where after appropriate punctuation marks, you can put commands here. The funny thing about this one is you cannot use the greater than sign, it's filtered out. So you have to write your command line with things like T to avoid using it, but you are able to write to an arbitrary file on the server. So again, there are flags to find, and on it goes. So those are some good things to try for command injection. And I'm going to stop this video. And I will